Vicky Angel by Jacqueline Wilson. Chapter 7. The Funeral, the Funeral, the Funeral. Oh God, I don't feel like laughing now. I don't know how I'm going to get through it. I close my eyes tight and barrel down under the duvet. Now, hey, come on, sleepyhead. Vicky pulls at my covers, pulls my hair, tickles my neck. She's laughter lighter than cobweb now, but it's hopeless trying to ignore her. Go away! Don't say that. Think how you feel if I really died, she said. Aha! That made you wake up, eh? Come on, you want to look good for today, don't you? My big day. Oh, Vicky, I'm draining it. I'm looking forward to it no end. I hope it's huge, with mess of flowers and lots of weeping and everyone says I'm wonderful. You're the funniest girl I know, honestly. Get off the bed then and let me up. Mom suddenly barges into my bedroom with breakfast tray. She's staring at me. Jade, who are you speaking to? I wasn't seeking anyone. I could hear from the kitchen. Well, I don't know, maybe I was dreaming, talking in my sleep. Mom puts the breakfast tray in front of me and then sits down on the edge of the bed, rather pink in the face. Vicky sits firmly beside her, giving her little nudges every now and then. Jade, I heard you. You're talking to Vicky, Mom says, not looking in the eyes. I must have dreaming about her. Fever, said Vicky. I know this is really dreadful to you, love, but maybe once the funeral is over and Vicky's at peace. Peace? I'm not going to rest in peace. I'm going to hunt everyone, says Vicky, shoving the sheet over her head and acting like cartoon ghost. She looks so funny I can't help laughing. Mom looked bewildered. Can she see that she's moving? I bend my head over my breakfast, sniffing, so she'll think I'm sobbing instant. I wish I knew what to say to you, she says. Anyway, get the breakfast down. The milk too. You need something solid in your tummy to see you through the morning. The funeral at little Evan. Mom's coming too. And Dad. He's only had a couple of hours of sleep. He looks gray and his hair is sticking up oddly. Hat with the white blouse and my black jacket. I feel a mess, but yet it seems so pretty to fuss about the way I look on the day like this. We're going to leave at 10:30 to give us plenty of time, but then Dad's stuck in the bathroom while Mom and I stand fidgeting in the hall. In the work, it always affects his stomach. Then there are cars blocking our parking space, so it takes ages to squeeze out. We end up getting to the Carmel with only a couple of minutes to spare. It's crowded, so many people are milling about that we all three stand confused, wondering what's happening. Then Mrs. Cambridge comes up, wearing a big green jacket and a grey suit. Looking so elegant, I don't even realize who she is for a second. There you are, Jade. We've been looking you everywhere. You missed the rational Lester. Help! Mom's running, looking at me. But Mrs. Cambridge has me by the arm and is pushing me through the crowds to Capel door. You're to sit right at the front with all Vicky's class. All Vicky's class. We want you form to be involved in the service. We thought you might like to read one of Vicky's essays. We've got it all marked. You go and sit at the front then. Mr. and Mrs. Marshall, there's 2 chairs at the back. I might just go and have quick word with Mr. Flowsworth. She dashes up on her black patent high heels. Is she the teacher? Said Dad. How come you Mr. Rachel? Mom hissed. I didn't feel well. I was in a sick room, I whispered. Poor love, you should have said that, said Mom. You always keep everything on yourself, Jade. I curtly keeping it to myself that I went on a jaunt up to London with the ghost of my best friend. I can see Vicky now. I can see Vicky. Oh God, there's a coffin covered in white lilies. The sweet, sticky smell is as overwhelming as chloroform. I stagger for words to the front row and sit down beside Vicky too. My Vicky is just a few feet away, lying there in the coffin. I wonder what they've dressed her in. A long white nightie to match her lilies, and maybe more flowers in her hair, and lilies in her clasped hands. I wonder if Mrs. Waters dressed like our big stiff doll. Are you right, Jade? Vicky whispered anxiously. I feel a bit sick. I slumped down in my chair, feeling the sweat on my forehead. Stop with me, Vicky too, Fat Boy Sam whispers. He's rustling in his jacket pocket. When he's beside me, practically squishing me, because we're all squeezed in so tight, he manages to pull out a small plastic bag of sandwiches. You can't eat here. I'm not going to eat it. It's for you, in case you're sick. What about your sandwiches? He puts his hand in the bag, but then shakes his hand at the impossibility of taking them out in Kabul. Be sick on them. It doesn't matter, he says nobly. Mrs. Cambridge is piercing our way. She edges over, walking daintily in her heels so that her tapping isn't too instant. I think she's going to tell us off, but she gives me a shoulder and a sympathetic squeeze. You'll be fine, Jade. Don't worry, she says. Now, this reading, shall we get Vicky to do it instead of you? I blinked at her. Then I realized she meant Vicky too, sitting next to me. Vicky too is okay, but I can't stand the idea of having anything to do with my Vicky. I'll read it, I said, reaching for the book of Vicky's English essays. I glanced at it. It's very short. Vicky's essay is always there. The only time they are decent left when 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 she brought me to write them for her. I got quite good at approaching Vicky's style and way of expressing herself. I could often write better essays as Vicky than myself. I haven't seen this one before. I remember the title though. Reasons to be careful. Mrs. Glomer in English played us all old Landers song. Reasons to be careful. It seemed a weird choice from Vicky's funeral. This organ music playing, slow, stumbling stuff. Some of the girls behind are crying already, sure the funeral hasn't properly started yet. Mr. and Mrs. Waters coming last, with the vicar. Mr. Waters is holding his wife tightly under her arm. She's got a new black designer suit with a short-tie skirt and a flowery black and white hat. She looks like she's going to a very glim escort. Mr. Waters gave me a little nod when he sees me staring, but Mrs. Waters looks straight through me. Maybe she doesn't want to see me, because she can't. Her eyes don't look very focused. Perhaps she's been giving some kind of tricycler to get her through the day. I feel like I've been drugged myself. None of this seems real. The vicar starts saying something, and we all started and sing the Lord in my shepherd. I think of the picture of Jesus wearing a long white gown and holding a big crook that used to be in my nan's bedroom. It's got nothing to do with Vicky. Then Mr. Flossworth gets up, and starts saying his little piece, and it's just like Will or at school. I hate the way he talks, all slow and sincere, with an upbeat to his voice. I bet he practices in his bedroom mirror at home. I hate what he's saying too. Stuff about some stinger called Victoria and lively, demonic girl, delight, kind, royal, and hard-working. It's the rubbish. Vicky wiggled up out of doing everything. She could be really mean sometimes. She didn't care typically about the school. She always said it was an old dump. She said far worse things than about Mrs. Flossworth. He hardly even spoke to Vicky, but his voice is tingling, and he has to swallow every second to get to the end of his mini sermon. Then there's another hymn. The vicar is looking at the front paw on the other side. I wonder if Mr. or Mrs. Waters are going to say anything. No, she's staring straight ahead at these awful curtains at the back. Mr. Waters is crying, his face red and shiny. It's Vicky's granddad who gets up and stands at the front, holding a crumpled piece of paper with shaky hands. "Our Vicky," he announces, like it's a title. He starts to read a little easy, all slow and settled, flipping out of some words. He's a nice old man, and I know Vicky loves her old grandpas. But this is still torture. He's going on telling about our little Vicky at the Truller and all her baby talk and funny little ways. I want to put my hands over my ears. I make little taunting movements with my thumb to distract myself. "Are you okay?" Fat Boy Sam whispers. I hadn't realized I was making a noise. Vicky would have had a right to laugh about this old tragically stuff, Beth with some whispers. I stared at him in surprise. At least he understands the real Vicky. I've never really taken Sam seriously. No one does. He's just a bad guy who clowns a lot in class. He's not sad. No one teases him about his weight, but he never glanced at one of the boys. I didn't realize he reckoned Vicky so much. I gave him a little smile. You're holding out well, Jade, he says. My lunch is still un- uns- unsilenced. So far, I whisper, because Jancy Biggs is playing her Handel Party face piece on the recorder, and when she finished it will be my turn. I stand up where Jane stops. I feel a bit wobbly. Sam's hand is on my elbow, stretching at me. I nod at him and then walks forward and face everyone. The chapel is packed, with people standing at the back. Vicky's full house. She every grinning simply waving her lilies. Reasons to be careful, I read. It's also typically Vicky that I do it in her voice. It's almost as if I'm her. Life is fun. One great big roller coaster swoop ride. It's fun to have a laugh with your best friend. It's fun to go out with a boy. It's fun to dance at a party. It's fun to stay up all night at a sleepover. It's fun to turn your music up really, really loud and sing along. It's fun to wind people up. It's fun to go along shopping for new clothes with your mom. It's fun to perch on your arm of your desk chair and twist him around your little finger. It's fun to look at yourself in the mirror and poke your tongue out. More reasons to be careful. Life is beautiful, not just all the nature stuff. Blue skinnies and blossom and little bunny rabbits. Tiny things that can be beautiful too. I think Lakely Shopping Center is seriously beautiful. I think all the big houses up on the hill are beautiful. London is beautiful. New York looks even more beautiful, and I can't wait to go there. Travel is definitely beautiful. Holidays too. One last reason to be careful. Life is short. You don't know how long you got to, so make the most of it. Don't waste time moaning. Enjoy yourself. There's such a hush. It's as if they're holding their breath. Everyone's looking at me as if Vicky is hiding behind me, saying the words herself.